Hello everyone, this is Varun Singh Negi. I've secured A.I.R-35 in CAPF AC 2018 and I welcome you all to Study Funda, and today I'll be discussing uh, the detailed application form. As you all know, the results have for the written part of the CAPF AC 2019 have come out, and I congratulate all of you who got through the written stage, the very difficult written stage. So it's a thing that you need to be congratulated upon. So well done, guys. And so now you'll have to fill the detailed application form before your physical efficiency test, and the window for that is open from the 30th October to 13 November 2019. So I'll be telling you what a D.A.F really is and what all information that you'll have to provide to UPSC, and I'll also give some tips regarding D.A.F filling, and this I'll be discussing through my own personal D.A.F, and which I've provided in the description box below. So I'll advise you to open that and D.A.F while watching this video, so I'll be able to teach you better. So let's get on with it then. I have a D.A.F opened in front of me, my D.A.F, and we'll start with page number 1. And in this you have to fill basic details like a phone number, your name, and the state you belong from, and you'll have to give your email ID and photograph. One advice that I would like to give you whenever you're filling forms for the exam, any competitive exam, is that you'll have to provide a very professional looking photograph and a very professional email ID. You want to become an officer, it shouldn't be that you've given a very informal and casual photograph or a casual email ID, which so make sure you do that, because I have committed that blunder myself. As you can see from my profile photo, it's not professional, and I should have avoided this, because I was specifically asked this question, and many people do get asked about this thing, that is this your photograph? I don't know why they ask it, but they do. So it's better you have a very professional one. And so regarding your address and your home state and your city, you will have to keep yourself updated about the current affairs that is happening in your city and state, and how you can solve them, and what are the problems in your city, and what are the important things that are present in your city, what are the tourist destinations. You will have to be aware of everything about your city state. Just hope that one of the board member is not from your state, because otherwise you'll have to be super prepared. So in the second page, you'll have to give your caste certificate, caste details. Those of you all who belong to EWS category, make sure that you have valid caste certificate made and you fulfill the criteria that are set in. Since it's a new category of reservation, there are some confusions regarding this. You'll have to fill your educational qualifications, and please make sure that you focus on those things which stand out in your educational qualifications. If for example you belong to an elite institution, whether it is in engineering or medical field, AIMS or IITs or IIMs, etc., just make sure that you're very well prepared about this, and just imagine the questions which can be asked from that criteria and that information. If something else stands out, for example you have scored very low in 10th class or 12th class, so then you'll have to be prepared about questions from that as well, because from an examiner's point of view, he'll ask questions on what stands out in your profile. So you'll also have to think about from the examiner's point of view. And so just always whenever you're filling information in the DAF, just make sure that you're thinking from the examiner's point of view. What questions the examiner can ask from this piece of information, and how can I respond in such a way that it creates an impression. Believe me, preparation does work. Page number 3. If you are an ex-serviceman, if you have done NCC, if you have the B or C certificate, it is a very desirable qualification, and just make sure that you're very prepared about it, and as to how NCC has helped you in molding your personality, and how it will help you in when you become an officer in the CAPF. Next is the preferences of forces that you've given. Be very prepared about the first preference, why it is your first preference, and also be prepared about the preference which you have given last. So the fifth number of force, why you have given it the last preference. You'll have to be prepared about this, and I was asked this question in the interview, so it was good that I prepared for it. So you also be prepared why first preference is your first preference, why last preference is your last preference, and you will have to convince the interviewers this is something which you are expecting, which many of the aspirants are asked in the exam, in the interview. So it's best you make such a convincing answer that it stands out from what others are saying. This will fetch you more marks. Interviewers, they don't really remember the content of your answers, but the impression which you have made on them. So you'll have to keep that in mind. And regarding details of other examination, similarly, always think what the examiner will think when you're provided this thing. If, for example, in my D.A.F, I've given 3 attempts of civil services means, so naturally I was expecting a question as to if CAPF is just a backup option for me, or do I really want to join the service. So similarly for you, the question will differ, the expected question will differ, so you will have to prepare accordingly. In the 4th page, you will have to give your details about your parents and the job they're doing, and similar details, all the expected questions. You don't have to prepare in detail about this, but in general you can expect some questions from this. For example, I live in Indore, Madhya Pradesh, but my home state is Uttarakhand, and I hail from Almora district of Uttarakhand. So I was expecting a question as to why I was moving so much. Then again, my father worked in BSNL, and so I was expecting a question on the BSNL issue that is going on in the news currently, the recent merger, and the problematic condition about its liquidity concerns and the inability to pay its employees. So you can expect some questions from there as well. So you'll have to be super prepared about everything that is there in the D.A.F. So every tiny detail is a potential question, and you have to prepare for that. Finally, the 5th page it's your hobbies and achievements wala page. So in this, my advice is you don't have to fill in a lot of details just because you have to fill in some information in there. Just write genuine things that you've really achieved, or your genuine hobbies, because you will be expected to be a master of whatever hobbies that you've put in. You will be asked questions about this. You will be grilled as to determine whether it's really your hobby or not. So it's better to write your genuine hobbies rather than fake it. And so that is and you don't have to worry about if it looks very empty or something like that, because you can always say that your achievements were not at the national level or a significant level, and so you did not put it in there, but you're interested in sports and you play it for hobbies, even though if you don't have any achievements in it, you can always say that, right? So, and regarding your hobbies, you'll have to be very prepared about this, and you have to prepare it in detail. And one thing which every interviewer asks is how this hobby has molded your personality and how this is going to help you uh, when you join the forces. So you have to be prepared for this, even if it's some hobby which might not seem connected. For example, gardening. Just try to think up of an innovative thing which links up this hobby with the services. You just have to think creatively, and it'll come up, and they'll be impressed if you are able to connect these dots. So so now we have come to an end. The final page is the summary sheet. We have already discussed all this stuff. So my final tips regarding the D.A.F is that the personality test of the CAPF exam, or any exam for that matter, is very unpredictable, and there are a lot of uncontrollable variables, the current affairs or the mood of the examiner. There are a lot of uncontrollable variables, but there are only two controllable variables in this, which is your preparation and the way the information that you filled in your D.A.F. So taking my example, my personal example, uh, I had 3.5 to 4 months to prepare for the interview, and I prepared extensively, comprehensively for the interview. But still, I was not able to predict the questions which were asked to me in the interview. But there was a sort of confidence in me that I had prepared really well for the interview, and I was thorough with all the information that is there in the D.A.F. So I was sure that what was in my control, the variables which were in my control, I'll be able to answer them properly and uh, in the way that I've prepared to impress the examiners. So I was asked a few questions which I had prepared for, and I was able to give a good answer in that. And there were some questions which, as I've told you, were not predicted. So I performed well in my area of expertise or my controllable variables, and similarly should you. Uh, in some cases, most of the questions are asked from the D.A.F itself. Consider yourself lucky if you're that person, because you can score very good by preparing good answers. In that case, I think you are understanding what I'm saying. So prepare, so write all the information in your D.A.F very carefully, and if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section below, or I have a Quora profile also by the same name, Varun Singh Negi, and so you can ask me questions there as well. But it's better to clarify a doubt rather than committing a very grave mistake. So always err on the side of caution. Or I'll end this video with this, and all the best. Take my best wishes with you. Fill the D.A.F properly, and I hope you all clear the physical and the medical test that is the next stage of the exam. And I hope you all go to the interview stage and clear with flying colors. And my best wishes. All the best. Thank you.